how is the digital and e-commerce situation at the moment? Like, is it a lot of people hiring, or everyone is like has frozen their hiring? Welcome to the Marketing Made Simple podcast. And today we'll talk about the future of the marketing career and the digital and e-commerce market situation in the Middle East. And today we have a special guest here, Alessandra Bogatuyo. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And she's from People Partners, a recruitment and outsourcing company specialized in digital marketing and e-commerce, helping people establishing their internal teams on short or long-term contracts. And first, I would like you to introduce yourself and give us a bit of background.
All right. Thank you so much, Rudy, for having me in the podcast. It's actually a pleasure being here with you, even if it's in a non-conformist way of doing podcasts nowadays. So as you have said, I do work for a recruitment agency. We are specialized on digital marketing. Now, we are not any type of traditional digital media agencies or recruitment agencies because we do try to offer multiple solutions to our clients through either outsourcing, because we do have a full manpower trade license, or freelancers, or permanent recruitment, where I am actually specialized in. So I do focus primarily on the digital side of the businesses and e-commerce. So that's my specialization.
Great.
So yeah, I can walk you through a bit what's happening right now in the region, in this area.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like you can add so much value now, especially now that a lot of people is losing their jobs. And like it's going to be interesting to see like the difference in terms of the overall marketing and the digital and e-commerce markets that everyone is talking about. You can see the Amazon and Google stocks going all the way all-time high. And you work specifically for GCC, right?
Well, primarily for GCC, but I have been covering roles in Europe, in North Africa, in Levant and Asia as well. So I do have a wider reach,
Nice.
not only here.
Nice. Yeah. So you can have even a wider understanding on the overall market situation. So I wrote down a few topics here that we can cover and we can discuss and have a nice conversation about. And the first topic that I wrote down here is the current situation in GCC due to the COVID-19 for e-commerce and digital jobs. Like, have you seen a lot of people losing their jobs, as I mentioned before? How is the digital and e-commerce situation at the moment? Like, is it a lot of people hiring, or everyone is like has frozen their hiring?
Well, we all know that the entire situation made us shift gears, right? And in terms of normal traditional companies, they shift gears into digital marketing and primarily e-commerce. I mean, I'm having clients that I would have never imagined that they can do e-commerce for their businesses, yet they are doing it successfully. So the shift obviously happened. It's something that I personally think it would have happened anyway in a couple of years. It's just that this entire situation pushed us a little bit forward than expected. So yeah, there might be people that are losing their jobs. There might be companies that are closing down even within e-commerce. But on the other side, there are a lot of companies that are expanding, a lot of companies that are having higher demands than usual. And if we are looking at tech and e-commerce companies that are primarily, within deliveries or service providers or anything that basically helps people, is something that's booming. Yes, there are industries where maybe the entire business went a little bit lower than usual because people, as yourself, working from home, they won't need outfits for 5 days a week working type of role. They need more, comfortable clothes to stay home and work very comfortably from their own space. But on the other side, the demand has been increased maybe on different tech products, as you know, as well, like to record videos and to do something different. And yeah, everyone is asking, oh, which one is better, which one does great, which one, like which industry, because this is how people are referring to which industry does better. I would say there is nothing as such. There is nothing as a particular industry that does better than the other. It all remains to the company level. So
yeah, I think this is a misunderstanding, especially about digital and e-commerce. People like, oh, should I shift my job into an e-commerce or digital company, or should I just stick to what I'm doing now? And like digital is just a part of the thing, not the whole thing. So whatever you do now, the industry is going to adapt and into the digital environment.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the interesting part, and that's what I'm always discussing with my candidates, with my clients, on what is the next step, how are they looking to approach this. And that's why I wanted to know from your side, because obviously you are coming from a background where it used to be very traditional marketing oriented, yet they had to find a very easy way of adapting to it and like keeping the business moving as fast as they used to do before. So how do you see that from your perspective? What has changed?
So I think the biggest change, like the structure, it takes time to change itself, but it's been a lot of changes already, and there's like structural and organizational structure that we have. But the high demand now is to upskill our current teams. So whatever, if you are in the sales team, whatever, if you are traditional marketing, a brand manager, or if you are a marketing manager and you come from a very traditional background, the main priority now is to upskill the team and how to accelerate this digitalization, this digital transformation within such a big company, traditional company that comes from the traditional advertising and marketing. So yeah, I have to say that the main priority now is to upskill the team. So now the focus used to be like the traditional marketing strategies, and now like how we can incorporate the digital environment and the e-commerce environment into our strategies without like just shifting into a digital marketing manager or a digital marketing director. No, you have to get the same people that you already have that are great people, great professionals, just to upskill themselves and have this better understanding of the digital environment.
Oh, that's a great thing to hear, honestly, because it's something that I have been advising people on doing for a long time, whether you want to change your industry, because everyone obviously for quite some time, not only this year and not only because of this situation, they wanted to shift from a traditional marketing to a digital marketing, but obviously before was a little bit slower than now. So I always encourage them like, okay, look for opportunities within the company, gain experience, and then try to move on. Because every single time we are receiving requests from our clients in people that, you know, are having experience and know how to do things. And that's completely understandable. Because in this fast environment, less and less companies are really having the necessary time to put into really training a person from zero. Whether if you are working already for a company, you can be there, you know, do a shadowing for someone that you like to be in their team or in their role in a couple of years, learn from them, because obviously they are the best, and then try to move if you really want to, or just be in your place and gain more experience, gain more challenges, and be an added value to your actual company. Because it's easy to be like, oh, my company doesn't give me this benefit, or oh, my company is not encouraging me, and you'll start looking for another job. Yet, have you tried? Have you asked? Have you came up with another idea on how things can be too? Because a lot of hiring managers and a lot of line managers would really appreciate someone that is within the organization, knows the business, and comes up with
Yeah,
a fresh idea.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think this is the biggest challenge from the digital side, because now more and more the companies are challenging us as like how digital can actually bring results, business impact, because the
Yeah.
traditional ways of selling drives most of the business, apart from big tech companies like Amazon. But most of the companies, the majority of their income comes from offline channels. And now
Yeah.
like how digital is actually helping the business, the overall business. So not only upskilling the traditional marketing people, but also to get the digital people to have a better understanding of the business, the overall business, and how to explain and how to bring value to the business with digital
Mm-hmm.
marketing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, digital marketing is no longer just a place where you are doing branding or brand awareness.
Yeah,
That's not the situation anymore. And this didn't change just this year. It has changed like from a couple of years back. But slowly, obviously, the target in there is more towards driving sales. And we all know this. I mean, everyone spends time on their phone. Everyone receives SMS notifications. Everyone receives push notifications. Everyone receives marketing emails. And as well as a lot of people do spend time on their social media, where is the biggest investment in marketing
yeah,
campaign, right?
true.
So the digital marketing has changed over the years from a normal simple ad that you would have seen based on a very limited amount of well, how like a limited amount of KPIs, let's say, that you are targeting someone. Now obviously the digital marketing companies and providers, they have expanded that, and you can actually customize that more and more. So it's really interesting how the shift is happening. Is really interesting in seeing that not only, you know, product driven companies are looking towards this, but also service provider companies. And I've been discussing with few people in this area, and the shift that they want to do in there. I was like, wow, that's actually very interesting, because no one actually would have think that even in this offline kind of area, you can implement these digital tools. So
I've been
it's
trying to
interesting.
educate the sales team and this traditional marketing people on like how even an offline business can have a big impact from digital strategies. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
very
it's
true.
true. So how have you seen the changes that happened? I mean, obviously you have been a very big focus on offline marketing, working with multiple brands, working with different expectations.
True.
How did you manage to adapt to all this and actually to make them understand that digital, it can be a very good added value to the business?
So first is understanding deeply the business, the overall business, and how they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you are not aligned in your thinking, the way of thinking, it's hard for you to like you're talking different languages. So
Yeah.
understanding the main objective of the overall business, and then you can start seeing how digital can be useful, how digital can help in delivering these objectives, and not just like the same as the traditional marketing people would think that digital you have to prove that you are converting someone to buy. But we also have to educate them on how digital can help without selling anything, like in building awareness, driving new consideration to the business until you get to the final sales. That can happen in multiple touch points, no matter if
Yeah.
it's online or offline.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good point on what you said, because a lot of companies are looking for different things when they are recruiting for their digital marketing and e-commerce teams, right? I mean, a lot of people do expect fast results. But obviously a great company with a great team will understand that yes, it does need some time, it does need some more involvement. I mean, you'll be surprised. So obviously I speak with hundreds of people every day for these platforms, right? And it's interesting to see humans' way of thinking and their psychology and everything. Is very interesting on how people are seeing this, how people will be addressing towards their job hunt within the digital marketing space. And obviously the candidates are having their own requirements or their own expectations, which companies from the other side are having their own expectations and their own inquiries. And it's good to understand where you are meeting both. I mean, for me, it's always a matter of consultancy for both parties. I mean, I have a lot of candidates that I'm advising them, look, no matter that I've been trying to, to help you get into a certain company, if you consider it's not the best for you, then don't accept it. Because ultimately you want that person to succeed somewhere. And I'm a very strong believer in matching the personality with the organization in order to make sure that it's a successful partnership. And the hiring managers and the company gets the best out of someone, and also push that person to grow in their career and to expand. So yeah, this is what I've been noticing.
And how big is the marketing right now, and how you saw this whole digital and e-commerce markets growing here in the GCC? Like you still see that's growing a lot, or you still you see that's like way behind that the rest of the markets, like in the European markets or the American markets?
Right. No, it's definitely a place of growth. There is a lot of potential from this perspective. What's very important is obviously to have the right people on board, to have the people that believe in your brand, which it's what drives them forward, but also to allocate the time to have it, and to understand that digital marketing in certain areas is not very cheap. As you know already, and I am sure you have been coming across this area, right? I mean, even having someone that takes care of the SEO part, which is very, very, very important. And I've been doing some courses on it, and I've been noticing, what are the changes comparing with few years back, and how you can actually push that forward. It's important to understand, yes, allocating time and allocating the right resources. So yeah, there is potential. There is a lot of growth that's happening across. I mean, if you've been seeing as well this year, there have been companies that merged or acquired other companies for the purpose of expansion, which is great. And that's the reason for which they are planning to expand in Europe, or they're planning to expand in Asia markets. And that's where they do partner up with the best people that knows the market there to bring value to their own team, which I honestly think it's a very, very good strategy.
True. Yeah, I also I like to, within like the people in the marketing industry, I always like to discuss that when you look from outside of GCC, you think like, oh, such a very advanced internet penetration, like a big in e-commerce and smartphones penetration. But actually, when you start working here, you can see that there's a lot of things to to evolve and to develop, especially when you compare to the US markets or European markets like UK, that's so developed with the top advanced technologies and strategies. Here, like because of the potential of the technology and the internet penetration, I think we have so much to develop. So whoever's thinking about considering changing their career or start learning digital, this is such a place to be at this time, and it's growing so much, and I think it's going to grow for the next 10, 20 years, because there is so
Right.
much to grow yet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you are completely right in this. There is a lot of potential, a lot of space to grow, to learn more, and to acquire more skills. But how would you advise someone that's, it's in that phase where, oh, I'm not having the chance, or no one is giving me the chance, or no one is teaching me how to do it, or they maybe don't know how to start? Like, how would you advise people to do this shift towards the digital marketing? Because look, in here, obviously, because there is such a huge potential on companies exploring these areas, they obviously want the best candidates to have to be on board. They want the best people to add value to the organization. But of course, we don't need to disconsider the people that they do have a really great knowledge, but maybe they did not have the time to apply it or anything as such. So how would you suggest on what people should focus on wanting to change towards digital?
So I'm always in favor of higher character and train skills. But it's like a half true when it comes to e-commerce, because you want someone that understands the digital environment, like how people read the message. So like the understanding the psychology, the traditional marketing psychology and human behavior, but on digital, how the technology works and how you get to your phone and check your social media. You're impacted with one message, you bring the awareness to your mind, and you start like considering buying from that particular brand. So of course you still have to focus on the character over skills, but you must have a minimum understanding of the digital environment. And I'd say that the key things are SEO, and you don't need to get very technical, just understanding how people search on Google, how your actions when it comes to content creation, when it comes to the titles or the type of content that you're going to create, if it matches with your target audience, understanding the inbound marketing strategy, how you can bring people to your company to visit, because on the internet you have so much things, so many websites, so many content. So how you can actually make people come to you and not just you screaming trying to get anyone in the market. And obviously a bit of analytics where you can look at the data. We have so much data coming from digital that we can measure and really understand the numbers and how to action on that numbers, because you don't need to understand the technicalities, but if you have an agency, you cannot just rely on them and wait for them to come up with the best solutions. They are not part of your company, so obviously you have it's not going to be their main priority for your business to succeed. You are the main one, so you need to have this a bit of this understanding of digital and how to use all those metrics that we can track on digital in your favor and take the best solutions. And maybe it's not even going to be digital, but understanding this will be easier for you to understand the process and how to improve and how to create the best strategy. So whenever we hire someone, of course we focus on the character, but you need to understand that you cannot just play saying like, oh, I understand digital, I understand SEO. Like you can feel it when someone really understands the digital environment and how digital works, how SEO works, and how analytics works. So yeah, you need to get a bit of technical understanding.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because it's the way things are moving forward, it's the way companies are expecting results, and it's their right way of moving forward. Now, obviously, a lot of companies, regardless of the size, like either being a startups or being very well established multinationals, they all had their way of looking at the situation, and they all had their way of looking at, okay, what do we need?
Is
And
there
it's
any
fair.
specific things within like it's small companies that are growing, or even from the traditional side, compared to multinationals, and even compared to like tech companies as these delivery apps and all those tech companies, when it comes to hiring digital?
Well, when it comes to hiring digital, it goes across any industry, any company, right? The focus on how can you be an added value to the organization. Now, obviously, it's also a matter of, as you said, in the company you work for, you have time because you have people like yourself and the people in your team that can be shadowed by people that are in traditional marketing. Where if we are speaking about startups, they need people who knows the business. They need people who understands how they can hit the ground and run. So,
Yeah, yeah,
it's amazing. And also on the other side, because I've been facing the situations as well, where people will be like, oh, I don't want to be in a startup. But like, my question is like, why? Because you can be in the spotlight of making that company great. You
yeah,
can be in
yeah,
the
true.
spotlight of being the first person who implemented that in that company and who managed to bring the business forward. So unless you consider yourself that you're not capable of, I don't really see why won't you take it. Now I understand everyone is drawn towards big names and like, shiny lights and everything as such, but these things are not always the best.
True,
And
very true.
that's something that I am speaking with people that are on those shiny lights, and they're like, well, I reached the ceiling. There is no more room for me to grow. It's just repeating myself over and over and over again. Where digital marketing and e-commerce, it's always creation, right?
Yeah, true.
It's always a place where you can be more creative, when you can generate more ideas, when you can be more attractive for your clients. So this is what all it is about.
Have
And if,
you been approached by companies hiring for traditional marketing professionals, but like they want someone with the digital expertise? Like I need a brand manager, but I'll go to a recruitment company that specializes in on digital and e-commerce, because maybe they have a more capable marketing professional nowadays. How do you see these, and if you being approached by companies with this type of?
yeah, of course. I mean, uh, I am approached by different organizations looking for different skill sets. And it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I understand the reason for which they want this. And that's why I'm here, right? Because I do have the time on speaking daily with hundreds of people, whether a company doesn't have that time to do that. I have time to talk with people from different industries, different backgrounds, different companies, and to understand the market. And that's why for me, I'm very consultative with my clients in this regards, where I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe you've done a market research on what are the salary brackets for this particular role, when like back in April or May, when all the companies were looking like, oh my God, what we need to remove, who do we need to remove, how we cost cut, how much can we reduce the salaries with to make the company move forward. Yet now, after all that kind of panic went away, I'm not saying that it went away completely. Obviously, there are a lot of factors to consider. They are still having that budgeting scheme that they planned back then, where other companies started understanding the value that a digital person can be in the company, and also what that has to be remunerated with. But that's why I'm here, to make sure that they are getting that unicorn candidate that they are looking for, right?
Sure,
Because
yeah.
any company is looking for a unicorn, and they do exist actually. It's just that you really need time to allocate in speaking, understanding, and obviously you need a person that understand what does it mean digital marketing,
And
what does
do you
it
see?
mean to achieve those things through digital
Sure.
marketing.
And from the candidate sides, have you seen like a more potential or a differentiator if you are a marketing professional with a digital understanding, with this technical skills?
There is always a slightly difference. Now again, I cannot say this is the only thing that's out there. I cannot
True.
say, oh, go now and do 5 programming languages for you to know how to launch a website and what to use best. I mean, obviously for digital marketing, you should know what to use, which platforms you should use best for your e-commerce platforms. But I mean, there are certain areas where there is just as much as you can learn for your particular industry, not to deviate too much, right? Now, if we are speaking about traditional marketing, as you said, a brand manager with the knowledge and involvement in the digital marketing aspect, again, how much digital you want that person to be. And yeah, there are people that have had the chance to combine these two. I mean, I'm speaking with a lot of candidates that I know what their involvement was, or like, I have a lot of connections, and they're also telling me like, oh, I got the chance in my company to actually shift more towards digital, and they're training me more on this. And with comparing with the courses that I've been done aside on my own, now it's a great time to actually maximize my knowledge. And I'm like, well, that's
True.
great, because this is how you can move forward, and this is how you can be creative. And you worked yourself with traditional marketing teams, and having a different point of view, it's great, because there are certain things that you might not have think of that they can make you aware.
Yeah. And I always tell people that like, especially now with the lockdown, everyone's like going on the internet and like, oh, I'm gonna do like 10, 5, 20 new digital course, learning about SEO, learning about analytics. And I always say like, forget about all this, just focus first in your business. What is your current role? What's your current job? What is your expertise now?
Yeah.
And try to learn something that is going to add value to your understanding, your expertise. That's going to be way more powerful than just like having 10 certificates in your LinkedIn profile saying that you know all those things, but you don't have any experience on like actually how to implement this, or how to see how to turn this knowledge into results for the company.
That's true. That's completely true. I totally agree with you. I mean, we need to understand the difference that it is for each and every digital marketing campaign, what it can be achieved, how it can be achieved, how long is it going to take, and as you said, focus on, does my company would do this? Does my company, I mean, will they implement it? Will they understand it? And focus from there in allocating your time and energy into the right direction. Yes, I totally agree with you in this area, because it's gonna be more and more. I mean, in the future, it's just gonna be more and more. It's gonna be a shift that will move towards digital marketing and e-commerce. Not only because of what's going around worldwide, but also because it's comfortable. And as as I've been reading in one of my books, it's great to buy time. And buying time is actually allowing you to invest in things that will will be an added value to your own life, regardless what that is, professional, personal, anything, will give you slightly more knowledge about it. And I'm a really big believer in like, go and explore and learn and understand and see how you can actually improve yourself. Because like, yeah, there will be a need in the market for this kind of people, but there will always be a need of, as you said as well, looking for the right fit in the company. And if you don't have the trust in what you are learning or how you can actually improve yourself and the company you work for, no matter how many courses you will be doing,
Very true.
you will stuck yourself and like, oh, maybe I'm not doing it right, or maybe I'm not implementing it correctly, or maybe, you know, this is not gonna work. And you can say better than me, digital marketing, it's a trial period
Yeah, exactly.
till the KPIs are reached.
And I always say that digital is all about do more, do fast, fail fast. Then you can learn faster and start improving, seeing the results and getting the experience that you need. Because like digital is on the spotlight now, and it's gonna be more and more. So now the companies, especially the traditional companies, especially the big companies, they want to see like, okay, digital is the focus. So now how you can turn this into a business impact, a business results that we can really see and invest more and more to integrate with the teams, to upskill our teams, to really take digital as not like a tool to use in the business, but to be in the core of the business as one of the solutions to drive the overall business.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. What I wanted to know as well from your side, I mean, obviously it has been a whole digital transformation that you went through. How much was that involved in automation, and how much was involved in, like, you know, developing the team and doing kind of in the traditional way? Because
Yeah,
obviously AI, it's something that is taking a huge part of our work, which again, it allows us to buy time.
yeah.
Yet it is a high concern for a lot of people.
So I think the willing is always there, like, and it's been for a long time. When the paid search came, when the social media for companies back in 2008, when I started developing within my own company the social media department. And so it's been all like there's been always a demand for like automating and as you
Mhm.
said, buying time. So the willing is always there, but especially in big companies, it's like it's hard to get there, to get implemented, either for the people there that you need to upskill, or even the system you have like multiple source of data that you need to make them talk to each other. And then
Mhm.
and also actually using the data, because sometimes you have so much data, so much information, so much automation in place that you don't even look at it, or you don't use and in the best way. So I think
Right.
the willing is there. So but the key thing, the key problem is to get implemented and make the most use out of it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Does make
and
a
and of
lot of
course
sense.
and of course connecting this with the business, because if you are automating, if you are investing a lot of money in developing and buying technologies for your business, you need to see the business results, the business impact you are
Yeah.
bringing, not just automation to see interesting and like talking to Siri or Alexa things. You need to get like what is this going to benefit and increase my business performance.
Of course. Of course. And this obviously goes back to creating an entire customer experience, which is very important for any business, right? It's actually very important in attracting, but primarily on retaining clients.
True.
Because we all know, even in personal interaction, the first 5 seconds are the most important ones. So it's kind of the same with the e-commerce platforms or the mobile apps, where, you know, the first 5 seconds, what's the customer experience in there? It's gonna make them stay and potentially have a purchase either there and then, or maybe come back to it, or you just lost that person forever.
True.
So
So
how have you been focusing on creating, or what were your primary principles that you have created the customer experience for your e-commerce side of the business comparing with the traditional one?
so first, whenever I'm discussing about the customer experience online, the e-commerce platforms, I always say like, forget about digital, just think about human interactions. Because people tend to think like, oh, this is a technology, so how we can create a code to solve our problem, to automate things, to make things like a, and you end up sounding like a robot, like you sound cold, you don't have any, like you lose this warm human interaction. And this is like the most basic things, no matter if you are holding your phone, browsing on social media, or you are face to face with someone. You want to feel that touch, that's a human touch, that's a human interaction. So and e-commerce platforms, they need to understand that there is a human being behind, and you need to think about as a human interactions. So less technology and more human touch. Whatever solution you think about, the technology is going to help you, but in the end you have to primarily think about the human interaction. And this is what like most of companies lack, and when they try to find solutions in technologies, and instead of finding solutions in human reactions. What's your customer, what they think about your company? How is their experience buying from you? Is this stressful? Is this painful? Like how is the overall experience? It doesn't matter if it's on e-commerce platform or on a physical store. So
right,
if you have this right mindset, it's going to be easier for you to get your phone, go to your e-commerce platform, and start feeling like, oh, this is really bad experience, how we can improve, just moving one button to another side, or changing the color, or even changing the touch points, the way you interact, your care line, like all the things, that all the elements that it's important for your target audience.
yeah, right, of course, of course. And we all know there are a lot of cases out there where companies, they have changed their entire customer journey, and they have placed in different areas buttons and stuff, and they had actually a very negative impact on their clients, just because we are humans that, no matter how adventurous we are, we love comfort, right? And we love to, I mean, I bet you remember when there were the phones with normal keyboard, you basically knew how many times you have to press to reach a specific letter, right? So now, again, we got used with maybe texting without even looking, or if we are talking about computers, we don't even look at our keyboard while we are texting, but we make sure that we do write the perfect sentence. And yeah, transformation is amazing. Coming up with great marketing strategies and customers' journeys is amazing, but as you said, yeah, the human touch needs to be there. So going too extreme sometimes, or if you know that your customers are engaging with a specific type, sometimes just moving a button from the top to the bottom, it can have a negative impact. So there is no useless time for the marketeers that have studied human psychology and everything.
Absolutely.
That actually need,
it's
I mean,
always
they
stays
need
the
to
same,
know it.
right?
That always stays the same, because us as humans, we have our primary way of thinking, which is the same.
Yeah, exactly. The technology is here just as like a tool for it, not our core as a human being.
Exactly.
True.
It's just an easier access. It's just a faster way of promoting your business, or being like reach to many more people in the same time. But yeah, obviously you do that through people. And what is very important as well is to understand that as much digital we are going to, we still need a human touch, as you said, and we still need a human touch at a personal level, at a face-to-face interaction, or even if it's through a phone. There are certain industries or certain companies that went so much on the other extreme with their digital transformation and AI implementation, that you actually hear bad feedback from their customers,
Yeah,
which is
true.
like, why would you spoil your business for that, right? You still need here and there a human touch, a human that you can interact with, a human that can guide you through the steps that you need to follow. Or if you have, let's say, a complaint or anything as such, it's still a human that you would like to speak to and address that directly. But it's great that most of the companies do understand that. Most of the companies can make a very great balance in between digital marketing, digital transformation, and their customer service traditional marketeers that they are having on board. And that's important. I mean, I won't advise now every single person that is out there within the traditional marketing or the customer service area to shift completely into digital. I mean, why would you do it? If you are really great at what you do, maximize
Absolutely.
what you are good at. Be the expert in your area and make that difference. That really counts.
True.
I've been interacting with lots of people that, you know, they can be good, but the minute that they are not trusting, what are they doing? The minute that they will be blaming everything on the exterior environment, they are failing. And you know, there were people there that I've been massively trying to help, and I was like, okay, this role came up, what do you think? This role came up, what do you think? Like, obviously all within their areas, and they ended up failing just because that trust, or they didn't know, oh, should I focus on the traditional area or should I focus on the digital? I don't know what to do, I don't know how to approach this. And all those type of things. But yeah, obviously, to sum up, the entire digital marketing spectrum does take a very big proportion here, and I'm really happy about that. Not only because I'm specialized in this area, but I do see the real added value to all of us. And in the same time, it's good to understand that the human touch is actually very, very important to keep your clients engaged, to keep your clients happy, and to keep your clients
Absolutely.
to come back.
Yeah. And I ran out of topics here that I wrote down, but a interesting question came to my mind, and
Mm-hmm.
I would like your view on that.
Let me know.
I've been posting like a few videos on the future of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you see will be the next like trend in marketing, in digital marketing? I've been talking about voice devices like Siri, like Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see this coming, like AI or even customer experience? What do you think, in your opinion, will be the next thing?
Look, I'm a very audible person, so to say. I mean, I faster send a message than send a voice message than type. It's
Yeah, yeah,
obviously taking more time, more focus, where you can record in 20 seconds and say everything that might take you 1 minute to type, right? But this is me. There are other people that will prefer the traditional way, and like all that personal touch, maybe even letters and so on, or still emails, not going into WhatsApp or anything. I do see that there is a change. I mean, I'm seeing a change even with people that, or maybe with our parents, right? I mean, our parents now are on social media. I've been actually surprised by my parents, who are actually very young, that they are using emoji to, you know,
yeah,
to
true.
express something. And I
And
was like,
and if you think about it, this generation, they tend to use more voice message than the young people. I
yes, yes, that's true.
at least is my personal feeling. And like, because people might think, oh, the voice technologies is not something like it's not gonna be that strong, but we are used to this, as you said, like to be in a comfortable zone. So
Yeah.
the voice is so easy. And in the past, if you have like a, if you were a manager or a director in a nice company, you didn't type your message, you asked someone to type. So
Yeah.
like we used to use voice messages a long time ago. So but just in a different way. Now we have the AI technologies to support us. We don't need anyone typing for us, but we have the
Yeah,
intelligence to do it. So yeah, I think it's going to
that's
be
true. That's
a
true. And
big thing.
also because using your voice, you are becoming more personal. Using your voice creates familiarity. Using your voice
True.
creates connections, right? Where messages are easy to interpret, are easy to assume, oh,
Yeah,
what,
it
like
can be
how the
misunderstood.
other person expressed this.
Yeah,
Where a voice is a voice, like you can relate to the type of voice that that person used or anything as such, and it's more familiar and can, you know, can engage you more, because digital marketing is towards engaging, and that's the whole point. um,
absolutely.
and I do think it's moving in that direction. I mean, I'm seeing massively more video CVs that are coming up, which is great, because you can see that person personality and you can see how they are expressing. Now, of course, that's not everything that we can count their experience or their personality on, because some people, they might become shy when they're in front of a camera, or they need to present themselves and introduce themselves. But it's still something that is moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah, thank you so much as well, Rudy. It was a real pleasure. I hope we covered in a very good way this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great. And thank you very much for being here and discussing this. I
Most
think it's
welcome.
a hot topic, especially for marketing professionals, that they need to upskill and upper their game when it comes to digital and e-commerce environments, because it's this year was the proof that it's gonna be here for a long time, and it's gonna be the future. There's
Yeah.
no way back anymore.
Yeah, it's just as we mentioned previously, it's a matter of understanding how and where you can move your career to, and you know, how can you become an expert in there. Because yeah, there are a lot of people, like, honestly, including myself, I've been doing a lot of digital marketing courses and everything for the sake of my knowledge, for the sake of my own purposes. But I realize, okay, am I going to be able to move into a company and start completely digital? No, not because I would not like it, but because I did not create myself as an expert in implementing it. I create myself as
True.
an expert in understanding how it needs to be done and what it needs to be applicable by someone else to reach the KPIs you are having. But then are other people like yourself that does this on daily basis and knows how to, you know, knows how to analyze the data, knows what tools needs to be implemented to maximize those campaigns or to maximize the digital transformation that has been implemented in the organization. And it's great to have a good understanding of, you know, where is the area you're expert into.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people shouldn't just go off topic just because it's digital. They need to learn everything, but just rather focus on your expertise and how, like, some of the digital skills you can get to maximize your expertise.